Praise be Jesus Christ. During the time of the Reformation, there was serious corruption and compromise in the leadership of the church. An excellent book on the Catholic reformers is called True Reformation, written by Jerome Williams. He goes through the life of 10 saints who lived at the time of the Protestant Reformation and who we consider Catholic reformers. One of those saints is Saint Philip Neary, one of my favorite saints. He's the prophet of joy. Now, Saint Philip Neary was influenced by a Dominican preacher named Savonarola. It says here, Savonarola was burned as a heretic in the square of the Palazzo Vecchio. Like none other, he had brought the people into tumult by his preaching, inexorably condemned the terrible abuses in the church. Savonarola is well known. He spoke out against the abuses in the church and even the corrupt leadership. They went after him. He called the people to penance and conversion. St. Philip Neary immediately took the great zealot and reformer to his heart. We know that in Rome, St. Philip had a picture of Savonarola in his room. And it was said that he himself had painted a halo around the head. St. Philip Neary saw Savonarola as a saint. Philip understood well how serious Savonarola was about the reform of the church and how necessary this was. Savonarola had been right. Reform of the church meant conversion and return to the book of the Holy Bible. The book would play an essential role in Philip's life. Now, St. Philip Neary did not oppose the corruption in the church in the same way that Savonarola did. St. Paul says, to each is given a manifestation of the Spirit. St. Philip Neary didn't speak out against the corrupt leadership. He simply lived a radically holy life, a life according to the book, the Bible. And his life was a scathing rebuke to the leadership of the church. And the joyful witness of St. Philip Neary and his followers, they say, worked a wonderful change in the Church of Rome, including affecting the popes. And they say his long life in Rome converted Rome. That's why he's considered the second apostle to Rome. And it's important for us to recognize we are living now in a time when there is much compromise in the Catholic Church, even among some of the leadership in the church. You look at countries like Germany. Some of the leadership in the church is pushing the spirit of the age and wants to see Catholics reject biblical and traditional Catholicism. And to me, it's imperative that the shepherds of the church, the priests, fight. We can't stand back and be cowards. Our Lord Jesus said, I am the good shepherd. A good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. A hired man who is not a shepherd and whose sheep are not his own sees a wolf coming and leaves the sheep and runs away, and the wolf catches and scatters them. You see, my dear brother priests, our Lord Jesus said, few find the narrow road. Jesus says in Matthew chapter 7, enter through the narrow gate, for the gate is wide and the road broad that leads to destruction, and those who enter through it are many. And I believe this applies to priests as well. Oftentimes, few of the priests remain courageous and faithful and steadfast in their faith and in their duty as shepherds. How narrow the gate and constricted the road that leads to life, and those who find it are few. Now is a time when the wolves are wreaking havoc in the church. And we must, as the priests, as the shepherds, fight the wolves, each one in his own way. St. Philip Neri fought the battle in a different way than Savonarola, but both were clearly in opposition to the corruption, to the compromise. A question to priests. Do your people clearly see that you're faithful to the book, to the Bible, to the tradition of the church? And do they see that you are a shepherd who doesn't run away? You fight the wolves. Now is our time, brothers. Viva Cristo Rey.